today we're going to be talking about someone that all of us have heard of, Michael King Jr. What? You haven't heard of Michael King Jr.? Well, let me tell you, you have. You just didn't know him. So he was born to his dad and his mom. His dad's name was Martin King Sr., and he was the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. And in 1934, they sent him over to Europe. He toured Rome and Tunisia, Egypt, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and he went over to Germany, where he read about the great reformer Martin Luther. So, as who we know, Martin Luther King, he was born in 1929, and in 1934, his dad went over to Europe. And a refresher on Martin Luther is he was the reformer that in 1517 that he nailed his 95 objections on the church door of the teachings that were biblically inaccurate. And I believe that when Martin Luther King Jr.'s dad went over to Europe and read about Martin Luther, that he was led by the Holy Spirit to change. He changed his name as well, but to change his son's name after Martin Luther, because he knew that he was called to be a reformer. And so, just like in 1517, Martin Luther, who brought correction to the church, Martin Luther King Jr., he brought correction to the church and to America with his life and his demonstrations and all his protests over Jim Crow laws and just illegal segregation. And, you know, in his greatest speech, I Have a Dream. So in my opinion, that's why Satan had him killed, was because he was so transforming the church in America to how God had designed America to be, that he had to take him out. And the I Have a Dream speech, it wasn't necessarily the first time that he'd ever talked about. He talked about dreams before in different throughout the years, and he'd given a similar speech in Detroit and North Carolina. But the speech that we know of as the I Have a Dream speech wasn't even in his prepared remarks for that day. And it, oh, excuse me, I need some hot tea. He was the 16th of 18 speakers that day in Washington at the Lincoln Memorial. And Malia Jackson is the one who got him to go off script and talk about his I Have a Dream speech, when she shouted, "Tell him about your dream." And Anthony Trindle writes this: "The right man delivered the right words to the right people in the right place at the right time." Like I said, in doing a little bit of research, he had given a similar speech and he talked about dreams throughout the years, but it just happened to be the right time. And I believe some of that had to do with where he was standing. And I believe that standing on the monument or the Lincoln Memorial there in front of Lincoln, just echoing the Declaration of Independence and Lincoln, that it was just a divine moment from heaven. And so I'll just read you the most famous part of it. And it's hard to even really find the speech because he had some prepared remarks. He had spoken similar things before, and he didn't really keep a record of it. And so it's just kind of what has been gathered through the years. And from they only have part of the clip on audio, and this is the part. And he says, "I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, that sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racist, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today." And I just want to echo that I believe that's God's heart for America, and that I want to see, that we all, from sea to shining sea, will live in unity, will lock arms with one another, but sadly, we aren't living according to this dream. We have, for some strange reason, decided, which is probably more like brainwashed by our elites and the lying media, that people that don't look like us are evil and that we need to self-segregate. Satan is up to his old tricks again. America and the rest of the world will be better off if we quit listening to the lies of the media that the media spews daily. And one of Martin Luther King's most famous quotes is, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." And in the words of Jesus, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. That is the key to unification, to just being all that God has created us to be. And I'll leave you with this. So arise, love God, love your neighbor, and be all that you have dreamed.
Thanks for watching and listening. It would mean so much to me if you hit the like or subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Rumble, YouTube, or like the Facebook page.